There we go.
Yes.
Awesome, guys. Smart Money community. Great to be here. Happy Tuesday. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
your week's off to a great start. TGIM. You know what I'm saying? Thank God it's Monday. Get to get back into the workforce or the market, whatever you do, and go and serve and change lives. And hey, talked about this morning. Actually, I posted yesterday. So I did a post yesterday, Jen, and the post said, something along these lines. I don't remember exactly what I said, but this is the gist of what I was getting at was it's odd how I have found average income earners are do
Mm-hmm.
better than high income earners when it comes to getting debt free and becoming wealthy. I didn't say becoming
Mm-hmm.
wealthy, but that's part of it as well.
Sure.
Average income earners, from what I have seen in our research and our numbers, generally speaking, average income earners tend to have better success financially than high income earners.
Mm.
Mm. And there's
Yeah.
there's some really, really, how so? And so today I posted, in fact, let me just go read the post. I posted in the group and said, hey, isn't it incredible how our average client sees a $30,000 turnaround in 12 months? Most, some do more, some do a little bit less, but I think that's kind of our average over 12 months.
Yeah.
Around in that ballpark. And most of these are single income earning moms. That's most of the
Yeah.
clients we serve are single income earning parents, but probably 80% or so, maybe a little bit less. But they didn't do it through a sudden raise. They didn't do it through winning the lottery. They didn't get a fortune from a rich uncle they never knew they had. Okay, none of that happened. So what did they do?
That's a
And
great
today,
question.
yeah, great question. What do they do? Because if you can do what they're doing, you should be able to win. And you should be able to have success. And these are the metrics I usually have for those that work with us. These are the metrics that in my mind that I write down. The average person should see roughly about a $10,000 turnaround in the first 90 days. Again, some do way more, some do a little bit less, but that ballpark of 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, right around there in the first 90 days. With most of them being debt free in about 24, maybe 36 months. If they've
Yeah.
got, multiple six figures of debt, we're usually in the 36-month range. But the majority are about 24 months for consumer debt free
Yep.
is the average. And then from that point, about 15, maybe 16, 17 years to hit millionaire status and net worth. And that's through investing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Are the metrics that I have. Now, here's the crazy part. When I look at our numbers, our average client makes five, six, $7,000 a month. Like we've got ones that do a lot more than that,
Sure.
but those are more anomalies. Those are not like that's not the everyday person. We got those at 12 and 15 and 20 and all that stuff, but that's not everyday people. Everyday people, the majority of our clients are five, six, $7,000 a month. Would you agree with that? Is that pretty accurate
I would say so,
from the
yes.
numbers?
Yeah.
So how does somebody making 5,000 or 6,000 or $7,000 a month, especially lately with, I mean, has anyone seen inflation? Or sorry, has anyone felt inflation? I've seen it disappear. I mean, I've seen my money disappear in my pocket,
Yeah.
but I felt it too. Who has anyone felt inflation?
Oh, yes.
So they're still doing this even with high inflation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them come to us in month one, they're in the red,
Yep.
right? Isn't that true? Month one, they're by month two, three, they're back, they're in the black.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So they're not making it happen on their own. They come to us and the first month looks horrible, but yet they're still on average about $10,000 knocked off in 90 days or so, debt free in 24 months and on track to become a millionaire in about 15 years, doing it, um, I would say safely. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but they're not in risky investments.
No.
And they're doing it and they're making an average 5, 6, 7K. So if that's you, it's time to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
It's school's in session. And we got four things we want to tell you, we want to share with you, four things that these people are doing to get big results. That if
Yeah.
you will start implementing and doing, you can have the same big results. Now, is that a promise or what? Is that a promise or what? So get your pen and paper. Those who take notes tend to have more success than those who just listen. Now, if you're driving, obviously you can't do anything. Don't do that. But if you're watching this, sitting down, grab a pen and paper, write this down. This is how you're going to transform your life.
Yeah.
This is how you get on the other side. Number one, should we dive in?
Yep. Let's do it.
Why don't you give them number one then? What's number
Yeah.
one?
Number one is to create and follow a cash flow plan.
Cash flow.
Right? I know. Everybody is really shocked right now that
Wait.
was number one on the list.
Number one's not to go double your income by investing in like weird crypto things that promise
No,
you never have to work for the rest of your life.
no, that's a bad plan. Yeah, it's funny how such a simple step has
Yeah.
such a huge impact, because when you're managing your cash flow, managing your income, you tend to have more of it and you tend to see it differently. You don't want to see it exiting your bank account
Yes.
same way as when you're not paying attention and you just don't have a clue, right?
Yeah.
So those who are getting those results, Mike, they are creating their cash flow plan and they're following it. They're putting the systems in place. They're embracing that change of how the money is managed, right? And
Yeah.
really bringing awareness to their choices. Is this getting me closer to or bringing me further from my goals? Is a great question to run through a cash flow plan.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So what's happening is they're getting focused. Probably most of them for the first time in a
Yeah.
long time or for the first time ever. They're getting focused and getting intentional about what's coming in and what's going out.
100%.
Right. And even in some cases where it's scary because what's going out, we're in the red.
Mm-hmm.
They don't go into freak out. They go into solve the problem mode. And
Yeah.
usually within a month, maybe two,
Yeah.
they find themselves back in the black.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, it works. And what's happening, guys, just think of it this way. Think of you get a boat, you poke a bunch of holes at the bottom of it, what happens? Sinks. It'll slowly sink over time. And what's
Yeah.
happening, what we have found is most people in their money, there's holes in their financial game plan, their financial boat, so to speak. And
Yep.
until you plug the holes, you're constantly sinking or you're trying to get the water out. You're constantly playing catch up. You don't really know what's going on. You're stressed. You're overwhelmed. You don't want to, maybe some of you don't want to look at the bank account. So you kind of look the other
Mm-hmm.
way and hope and pray, you don't get an email or a phone call that you've, bounced a payment. But that's the exact wrong approach. If you're willing to take a look at it and plug the holes, that alone for most people helps them find an extra $250 to $500 more per month.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Just doing that. And it may take a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been bad at this for 20 years, give yourself 3 months of doing it for 3 months. So usually all you need is about 3 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, that cash flow plan's number one. Number two is small sacrifices lead to big wins over time.
Yes.
I almost want to call this the power of no.
Yeah.
Or not now.
Yeah.
Right. What happens is if you're willing to, what's that old saying? If you're willing to do what others aren't willing to do today, you can have and do what others won't be able to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is that saying? Is that how that goes?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. It's about saying no to some things now so that you can say yes later. Right.
Yeah.
And a no doesn't have to be bad. No is actually a gift word.
Woo!
Right. Because when you're saying no to something, you are in fact saying yes to something else.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you're saying no to, let's say, that annual big trip or expensive dinners out, you can still find other yeses in that. right? There's other yeses
Absolutely.
that get created when you say no there. You had a great quote that you mentioned this morning.
Yeah, which one was that? I totally forget it now.
What
You
what's
remember?
important to you right now?
Oh, yes. Might not be important for you down the road.
Yeah.
Right. And that speaks to the power of like really prioritizing, is this thing I'm about to do, or is this thing I'm about to put my money towards, the thing that's really going to get me to the outcome I really desire to have 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of things, it's a no. The answer is a no.
Yeah.
Not for everything, but for a lot of things. And if it's a no, then why are we doing it?
Yeah. Great
Right.
question.
Right. And the days when I was getting out of debt, so we had $80,000, or roughly around $80,000. I worked so much overtime
Mm,
to move that wheel that I'll never work overtime again in my life. Like,
yeah.
that's it. I worked so hard, harder than probably most people were willing to work. Now I will never work a day of overtime again.
Yeah.
And it was short. I mean, it was hard, but
Yeah,
it
of
was two
course.
years of head in the sand, and just getting it done so that I could have the freedom that I really wanted after.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that brings us to number three, be willing to work for what you really want,
Ooh,
right? Like
yeah,
it's about working smarter, yes.
yeah.
And sometimes it's about working harder, right? To work that overtime for 2 years. Now that that 2 years has passed for you, Mike, like was it worth it?
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Like
Absolutely. I'm not sure what happened to my camera. I've zoomed in all of a sudden.
you sure have.
I don't know what happened.
Ah,
And I don't know if I can zoom out. Anyways,
that's funny.
don't pick out all my pimples, please. But yeah. It was hard in the moment. And then
Yeah,
and the moment was like, do I
yeah,
really need to? I really want well, I didn't want to. I know the answer to that was no, I didn't really want to.
yeah.
But I look back now and I'm like, oh man, it was so worth it.
Right?
So
Yeah.
worth it. Yeah.
I think too, Mike, because you knew it was going to come to an end,
Yeah.
right? Like
There was
that's
an end
how it
date.
was for me too, right? Knowing that it didn't have to be like that forever, that it was a short-term sacrifice for that long-term victory. I was willing to work. You were willing to work,
Yeah.
right? Those who are in the program and winning and paying off 10,000, we got an email today, 36,000 paid off in a year,
Whoa,
8,000
what?
saved. Like
Yeah.
these are people who are willing to go out. They went out, they got that job, right?
Yeah.
They did the extra work, they're working the overtime. They are so free, right? Like they can see the freedom, they can taste the freedom. And then they
They're
can,
almost there.
yeah, they're almost there. And then they get to make a choice. They
Yeah.
get to choose. Do they want to keep working like that because they have other goals, or do they want to do something else?
That's right.
They have options, right?
They have options and I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have options, which is great.
Yes.
I'll never forget this. So like we got debt free. That was it. We hit the finish line. We got the emergency fund. Took us another 12 months to get that. And then we were really off. And what was really cool about that moment of being completely debt free and then having a good emergency fund is we had what I call a good portion of income freedom. Now we obviously still, if you didn't work for 6 months, we were going to struggle.
Yeah.
But I do remember specifically at that point, I was in a pretty labor intensive job. But I remember at that point, if I didn't want to work, I would take weeks off.
Yeah.
So I was the way my contract was set up is I was a contractor. They could call me anytime and say there's no work for you.
Yep.
Go pound sand for 3 weeks and we'll call you back.
Yep.
Or I could call them and say I'm not taking the next assignment. I'll call you when I want to come back.
Which is amazing.
Which was a cool job. And I know not everybody has that freedom, but I would go take weeks off at a time because I was like, I've got a no, I think at the time he had $30,000 emergency fund. I got money in the bank. I'm just gonna go chill for a week.
Yeah.
And I would do that. It was so cool to be able to get to that point. But I remember they started to change things up a little bit. And at one point, it was almost they were forcing you to work overtime. It
Right.
was like they were saying you're going to work 12-hour days now.
Mm,
And I remember at one point I would do my 8-hour day. I come back to the station and said, I've done 8 hours. I've done. You got half a truck left that needs to be delivered. You'll have to find someone else.
yeah.
I'm not working overtime anymore.
Yeah.
Go pound sand. And yeah, this is the corporate environment where I could do that. And I try to be nice, but I try to also have boundaries where I wasn't working 12-hour days, 5 days a week. I'm not going to burn out because you can't manage what you should be managing.
Sure.
Anyways, but all that to say, the freedom I got, emergency fund, money in the bank, gave me a new level of freedom that I didn't have when I was struggling to make debt payments.
Yes.
And it was awesome. So you guys can get there too. Then the last one, guys, the last thing here is what we have found is when beliefs shift,
Mm-hmm.
big results happen.
Yes.
So what I have found is a lot of people are limited to the results they get by the beliefs they hold on to. Some of the beliefs are internal. We've created them. They're stories we've told ourselves for years. Some of them are external. We've kind of just received them from other people or family or the news or whatever. But as long as you hold on to beliefs that this is going to be a struggle, that this is going to take forever, that the poor man can't get ahead, the all this stuff, you will continue to struggle.
Yeah.
You will continue to take years and years and years and years and years to pay off a visa.
Mm-hmm.
You will continue to go back into debt. Right. So the beliefs around the situation have to shift as well. So you
Yeah.
implement the cash flow plan. You implement, sacrificing today so you can win tomorrow. You implement saying no to things today, so that's yes for things tomorrow. Um, but you've also got to have those beliefs fundamentally shift. And this is why bankruptcies generally don't work, or remortgages, or consolidation loans, or getting a whole bunch lump sum of money from a friend or family or whatever doesn't work long term because your beliefs haven't shifted with it. So
Yeah.
yes, you use that money to pay off all the debt, but how many of you guys and us have fallen back into debt? That tells me that's a belief problem, not a financial problem.
Yeah.
And until your beliefs shift, doesn't matter what plan you do, generally speaking, within 2 to 5 years, you're back in the same spot. And anyone that's tried to lose the same 20 pounds year after year after year after year after year after year, that's kind of the same thing working on you in a
Yeah.
way, right? So you've probably experienced it. But if your beliefs will shift, your whole world will shift. It really will,
Absolutely.
which is why people pay off 10K in 90 days, which is why
Mm-hmm.
people are debt free in 24 months, which is why people are on track to become millionaires within 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Is because their belief shifts and then they implement the cash flow. And when your belief shifts, you can say no. That's a lot easier to say no when your belief about outcomes different than what it was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
It becomes easier to say no, or easier to say yes to things you need to say yes
Yeah.
to get the result. So that's how they're doing it. In fact, Jen, in the last year, we paid off over $1 million of debt.
That's crazy.
Our coaching class have paid off over $1 million of debt,
It's
which is just
amazing.
insane. And we don't work with thousands of people. So, you don't take, we work with less. I think last year, in the last 12 months, I think we're at 60 or 70, a handful a month,
People. Yeah. Yeah.
handful a month, $1 million paid off.
Yep.
So you do the math, that's about $20,000 ish, 16,000, somewhere around there. I'm just doing the guesstimate. $1,000 turnaround in that time
Yep.
frame. So if you want to experience that, I would say the best thing you can do right now is sign up for the Find More Money Challenge, where it starts next week. We're a week away,
That's
less
just
than a week
crazy.
away, next Monday. And the average person coming through finds $250 to $1,000 more per month.
Amazing.
All right, we're going to teach the cash flow plan. We're going to teach a whole bunch of other things too. But this is the goal. Is to start there. Now, if you're watching this in like October or November and the Find More Money Challenge is done, then I would say at least hop on a call with us. 15-minute call, absolutely free, no sales pressure. Not going to twist your arm to work with us. moneycoachmike.com/calls where you can do that. You'll probably talk to Cheryl or Neil or even myself, or we're going to take a deep dive. What's working, what's not working. If we feel we can help, we'll show you what we can do. If we can't, we'll just say, cool, go hang out in the free community and let us just serve you in there. But for those that are watching this right now, Find More Money Challenge is where you want to be. Jen's going to be in it. What are you teaching on, Jen? What are you teaching?
I am teaching shopping and side hustle secrets.
What? And I'm teaching debt secrets, tax secrets, subscription secrets, probably
Nice.
cash flow plan secrets now. I'm teaching a lot.
Yes, you are.
And we've got a whole bunch of other stuff already in the VIP area for you guys to dive into right away before the challenge starts. But yeah, I'll be on there teaching those. And so moneycoachmike.com/find more money is where you can learn about the challenge and grab your ticket. But guys, honestly, this is what they're doing. It's so simple. Cash flow plan. They're willing to say no to things now so they can say yes to things down the road. Okay, their beliefs change. And what was number 4?
They're willing to work hard.
That's it. They're willing to work hard to get the job done and make it happen. All right. And if you're willing to do those 4 things, you will win.
Yep.
Awesome. Any last words of wisdom, Jen?
Oh, guys, really hope that we'll see you in the Find More Money Challenge next week. It's going to be amazing.
Can't
And
wait.
yeah, can hardly wait. Oh, sorry, not next week, 2 weeks. I'm
No,
getting
it's
ahead.
next week.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Am I? Is it? No, it's next week.
It's Monday.
It is next week.
We start Monday.
Monday. Yeah, I'm losing track of time. Guys, it is next week. Come join us next week.
Next week.
Monday the 23rd. So
that's right.
It'll be terrific. Can't wait to see you guys there.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now, guys.
Bye.
All right.
Dopey bird. Totally losing track of time.
All good, Dopey.